Hi folks, this is your MWIS Fleeting View for Friday and the weekend. A very complicated weather situation over the next few days, with some very warm air being drawn up from the south across England and Wales, but some much cooler air across Scotland and a slow-moving frontal zone in between, producing some very heavy rainfall. That really developing as we go through Friday afternoon and evening as the warm front over the Atlantic pushes in, and that will produce some prolonged heavy falls of rain, then continuing well on into Saturday daytime, and the risk of some flooding across western Scotland. Some damp and drizzly conditions across western hills of England and Wales during the day on Friday. Windy across most areas, up to gale force over many high tops during the day. Northern Scotland escaping drier for longest. Some parts in the far north around the Cairngorms may be seeing dry conditions much of the day with some bright skies, but expect some rain becoming more widespread through the afternoon and onwards. Let's run that story onwards into the weekend then, and this is the situation overnight into Saturday with widespread rain across Scotland into northern England as well. Through to dawn, extensive heavy falls are likely, and that will continue into the daytime. The most prolonged heavy falls across western Scotland through Saturday. A bit of uncertainty still on the exact north-south extent of this rain. It may be that the northernmost parts of the Highlands see some patchier rain, and it may just break up occasionally. Further south, equally, the rain that bit more broken, but it's likely to be on and off for much of the day for the southern uplands, and some light rain and drizzle possible into the lakes and North Pennines too, but here more likely smaller amounts. For Wales, for the Peak District, largely a dry story and very warm here. We'll have some inversion conditions in place, so the mountain tops will be remarkably warm, with some mist and fog and some low cloud banks maybe just around some lower slopes, particularly in the morning. Extensive blanket cloud across the mountains though through the Highlands, and temperatures considerably colder in the northernmost areas across the Munros, close to freezing point, and that may mean that some of that rain is falling as sleet or some wet snow across the higher tops in northern Scotland. Possibly through the afternoon, the intensity of the rain fading, but generally still the idea of rain pretty widely across a good part of Scotland. Just the far north here, just that hint of being drier. As well as the rain, we'll have some very strong winds, and that will be a westerly flow across England and Wales, gale force across the lakes and Pennines. For Scotland, the wind much more variable, strongest just to the south of the front near the central belt. Further north, it could well be an easterly, and that could be quite gusty in places at times as well. Now, as we go overnight into Sunday, that rain is still around. The intensity has faded somewhat, but rain, drizzle and low cloud will start us off on Sunday morning for most of the Highlands. Likely to see that frontal zone pull away northwards during the daytime, so some improvement developing from the south. I suspect though that rain and drizzle will continue much of the day near to the west coast, especially in more northwestern parts of the Highlands. Low cloud through northern England too early in the day is likely to break up, so a bit of a day of two halves perhaps across northern England, where it becomes sunnier as the day goes on. Some misty conditions, maybe hazy conditions around for a while across Wales as well, but again above an inversion the hills are likely to be clear, and again feeling warm, and temperatures lifting across the Highlands too, but fairly likely that cloud will stay across the tops for most of the day. Some brighter skies may just emerge into the central Highlands by Sunday afternoon. The wind speed's quite variable, typically south to southwesterlies through Sunday daytime. Locally quite gusty, could be in excess of 30 miles per hour in places through the Highlands, especially around more northern and western areas. Generally lower speeds through England and Wales, certainly compared to Saturday. Do keep a close eye on your local details then through the days ahead. Some quite tricky conditions out there at times. That's your fleeting view. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.